Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Creative Buzz podcast, a glimpse into the local arts hive mind. My name is Johnny Tran. I will be your host for the evening for this podcast that covers San Diego arts and culture. And this is our first episode, our first returning episode after a 2-year hiatus. And it is great to be back here with you guys. So tonight we will be talking about the Old Globe announcing its 2023 season. We'll be talking about the Asian Story Theater and its latest project. Also, Proposition 28 in California, which guarantees minimum arts funding for public schools. We'll be going over that and all the details. And affordable housing for artists project in Vista, and also the homelessness crisis in San Diego is exploding. And that is a problem because it affects tourism, which is a big driver of the arts and culture industry here in San Diego, obviously. So yes, thank you everybody for checking us out. Feel free to leave any comments on the social media platforms that you are watching or listening to the podcast, and I'll try to respond. Once again, my name is Johnny Tran, co-owner of Thumbprint Gallery, which is the sponsor of this podcast. Thumbprint Gallery was founded in 2009, and we curate monthly and pop-up art exhibitions featuring emerging mid-career and established artists with a focus on contemporary pop culture, nostalgia, urban art, and pop surrealism. The gallery seeks to provide an eclectic and engaging atmosphere to view art by bringing people together in appreciation and support of local, national, and international artists. If you want to support this podcast and help us continue doing this work, please consider making a donation to our PayPal info@thumbprintgallery.com or Venmo @thumbprintgallery. Also, don't miss out on our current art display, solo art exhibition by Daniel Hicks titled Informal Arrangements, which will be on display until November 15th. I'm going to put a little video of some of the pieces. In the exhibition right now. You can see that on my Instagram there. Yeah, come check it out. It's on display until November 5th. Solo art exhibition by Daniel Hicks. Some really great abstract, minimalist, mixed media, abstract minimalist kind of vibe. Thumbprint Gallery is open every Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And also, we'll be hosting a closing reception for the exhibition on November 4th from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. So please come on by and check out the show. And also, on that same day, November 4th, I'll be celebrating the release of my third musical album titled Ghost of John Okada. And that'll be November 4th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And here is the flyer for it, and the album cover art is integrated into the flyer. Album cover art is pretty great by local artist Noni Cruzado. Actually, he's not local anymore. He's now in Colorado, but I think a lot of you may know him. So please come celebrate the release of my third album on November 4th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Thumbprint Gallery in La Jolla. A little bit about the album Ghost of John Okada. My third album reflects on the late author of the first published Asian American novel, No No Boy. The novel, written by John Okada and published in 1957, depicts the story of a young man who, after World War II, was recently released from prison where he was serving a term for refusing to fight for the U.S. military in the midst of his family being victimized by the mass imprisonment of Japanese Americans in concentration camps. The album draws on the novel's themes of alienation, identity, and racism with juxtapositions against today's society. The album envisions what Okada would think about our contemporary times, where Asian Americans are increasingly victims of hate crimes while having their American identities questioned, just like when the author was alive. Through down-tempo, trip-hop, and electronica beats, the album highlights the intersections between nationalism, politics, and the military-industrial complex. Melodies and rhythms convey emotions ranging from rage to sadness to hopefulness. So yeah, I hope you guys can make it out on November 4th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the album release, and from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the closing reception for Daniel Hicks. All right. So next I wanted to talk about the old globe. Old Globe Theater in Balboa Park, and they have released their 2023 season schedule, and here's a little bit about it. 4 world premiere productions will be happening in 2023 at the Old Globe Theater in Balboa Park. This includes a reflection on the 1968 Mexico City Olympics and the activism that defined those memorable games. That's just one of the highlights of the Old Globe Theater's just announced 2023 season. Kemp Powers, the 19th, chronicles the protests in Mexico City by Black American sprinters Tommy Smith and John Carlos. Directed by Carol Caulfield, it begins previews March 17th on the Old Globe's Donald and Darlene Shiley main stage. So that should be pretty cool. Particularly interesting to me as somebody in the visual art industry is the opening play of the 2023 Old Globe season called The Notebooks of Leonardo da Vinci, adapted by Tony Award winner Mary Zimmerman, who also is the director. The play is drawn entirely from Da Vinci's own notebooks and treatises. Performances for this one begins January 21st. Yeah, so very cool. And definitely want to go check that one out as well. And speaking of theater, I wanted to let you know about the Asian Story Theater's upcoming show starting on October 28th called Not Working, Essential, Fired, and Forgotten in a Time of COVID. Let me give me 1 second here. And there it is right here. Put that on the screen for you. And yeah, a little bit about the play. Even as America struggles with the tidal wave that COVID-19 continues to be, there are experiences unique to different communities. Not Working uses music to help shed light on some of these illuminating secrets and surprises, along with pains that are all too familiar. And despite the serious subject of COVID's inescapable, mysterious, and transformative effect on all of our careers and lives, Not Working confronts this subject with honesty, energy, humor, and hope. The all original songs of Not Working are from AJ Raphael, Howard Ho, Luis Aragon, Creative Spes, Antonio TJ Johnson, Ginger Lily Lowe, Mark Macalinto, Leonard Patton, DeJohn Blevins, Raya Hart Pearson, Annabelle Ramos, and Dave Scott. Composers and songwriting team is invited by co-producers Asian Story Theater, Teatro Mascara Mágica, and San Diego Black Ensemble Theater. Invited from each company's collaborators and friends based in San Diego and Los Angeles, the musical styles and perspectives are as varied as COVID symptoms, ranging from singer-songwriter irony to angry rock, big band to powerful ballads, all performed live. A highlight of Not Working is that each performance is immediately followed by a different short open dialogue about a particular theme or song from the show. These post-show chats are each hosted by a different community leader, inviting audience questions and insights from the COVID experience we have all come to know firsthand. I will actually be hosting a forum on Sunday, November 6th, where I will be speaking with local artist Tao Nguyen. So go to asianstorytheater.org to purchase tickets. Yeah. Sorry, but I think we just got kicked off of Instagram, so apologize for that. Yeah, I think we'll just have to go without it this time. I'll work on that. So now I wanted to talk a little bit about Proposition 28 in California, which will be on your ballot. Proposition 28 would require the state to allocate at least 1% of Prop 98 funding, which is money guaranteed for public schools and community colleges in the state budget. And at least 1% of that will be required to be put towards music and arts education. That's estimated to be a $1 billion annual set aside. Schools with high school proportions of students from low-income households would get more funding. School districts would be required to spend 80% of the new funding on hiring arts and music instructors. They'll have to publish annual reports on how they spend the money. So basically, this is providing a floor on funding for arts education, which is important since in times of fiscal constraint and a slowing economy, the arts are always the first to be defunded from public schools. And I wanted to show you a little quick informational video about Proposition 28.
When school budgets are cut, art and music classes are often the first to go. But a coalition of educators, labor groups, musicians, and Hollywood actors say arts and music are just as important as science, math, and reading. In November, California voters will decide if the state's yearly budget should mandate about $1 billion more for arts and music education.
Hi, I'm Joe Hong. I'm the K-12 education reporter for Cal Matters, and this is Proposition 28 in a minute.
Today, the state requires all of California's public school students to get some form of art instruction. But the quality of education can vary based on where you live. So Prop 28 was designed to give more money to districts that serve more students living in poverty. This measure won't raise taxes, but it will affect the budget. By law, California guarantees that about 40% of the state's general fund goes to education. Prop 28 would add 1% to that and dedicate it to arts instruction. For next year, that comes out to about an additional $1 billion. Districts would need to use most of that money to hire teachers for art, music, or drama. Supporters of the measure say students need the space to express themselves now more than ever to overcome the mental health challenges brought on by the pandemic. The money would come out of the state's general fund, which currently has a surplus of nearly $100 billion. So for now, supporters say they don't anticipate any cuts from elsewhere in the state budget. Heading into the fall campaign, no individual or organization was spending money to oppose the measure. So vote yes if you want California to give more money to schools for art and music, and vote no if you don't.
To learn more about this proposition and others, visit calmatters.org. To stay up to date on California policy and politics, sign up for our newsletter in the link below. For Cal Matters.
All right, so that's a little bit about Proposition 28. Now, why this is needed is that arts funding is lacking in public schools. According to a Cal Matters article, this is what they say about that. This is from the article. Study after study has demonstrated the importance of arts and music education in the development of children and their success in school and in life. As education leaders, we have seen firsthand the value of an arts education. Arts and music education improves cognitive development, reasoning, and language acquisition. It corresponds with higher student achievement in reading and math, and it leads to increased school attendance. Participating in the arts is especially urgent now to support students' mental well-being amidst the ongoing impact of COVID-19. Despite these clear and demonstrated benefits for children, California is behind when it comes to providing schools with funding for arts and music education. And the irony is glaring, as California is the capital of the world's creative economy, supporting 2.6 million jobs in the state. Only 1 in 5 public schools in California has a dedicated teacher for traditional arts programs like music, dance, theater, and art, or newer forms of creative expression like computer graphics, animation, costume design, and filmmaking. So, yes, please vote yes on Proposition 28. It is obviously very needed. So please continue supporting the arts by voting yes on Proposition 28. And also, you can continue supporting the arts by supporting our sponsor of this podcast, Thumbprint Gallery. We were founded in 2009. Thumbprint Gallery curates monthly and pop-up art exhibitions featuring emerging mid-career and established artists with a focus on contemporary pop culture, nostalgia, urban art, and pop surrealism. The gallery seeks to provide an eclectic and engaging atmosphere to view art by bringing people together in appreciation and support of local, national, and international artists. Consider making a donation to our PayPal info at thumbprintgallery.com, Venmo at Thumbprint Gallery. Don't miss out on the current art exhibition on display, the solo art show by Daniel Hicks titled Informal Arrangements. All right. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to be talking about a new affordable housing artist village that was recently created in Vista. And this is important because artists need places to live. And this is a little bit about it. This is from the San Diego Union Tribune. Elected officials from the county and city of Vista were joined by community members and representatives from the nonprofit developer Community Housing Works last week to celebrate the opening of the Artist Village, which began accepting tenants in February. All 60 units are full, including 1 for a property manager and 3 for veterans. 52 artists and 4 local Vista residents who qualified because of their low-income status. Of the 52 artists, 20 already were Vista residents. And here's a little video of some of the government officials in the Vista area, I guess, announcing what is called the Paseo Artist Village. And here is that video right here.
The 2 biggest concerns in California are homelessness and affordable housing. And here we are today. I wish I had my day full of events like this where we're just opening up more and more and more affordable housing.
This beautiful community is a pedestrian-friendly, affordable development with 60 apartments available to local Vista residents, artists, and veterans. We are thrilled to be able to provide these new residents with not just a home, but a way to build a future for themselves and their families.
So today we're celebrating the grand opening of Paseo Artist Village. The county invested money through the Innovative Housing Trust Fund. That $70 million fund has created housing all across the region for seniors and veterans and families. We're excited to continue to build more units, and hopefully this will be one of many more in North County and across the region.
By far, this is the most expansive and forward-thinking project the City of Vista has ever been involved with to date. By leveraging our affordable housing funds and providing the land to Community Housing Works for 97 years, City and the Community Housing Works were able to bring this project to fruition.
My name is Addie Seeley, and I am a retired disabled Army veteran and actively working artist, and I'm a current resident of this building. Since moving into this building, having a living space that I can call my own, on my own, without help of anyone, was only a dream. It's an incredible feeling to have your needs fulfilled in this manner, as I have coveted this for quite some time. And it eases my mind to know that I'm living someplace that is not only safe and secure, but also affordable.
All right, so funding for the $33 million Paseo Artist Village included $8.6 million from the city of Vista, which also provided the land, and $1.5 million in annual federal tax credits. The property includes about 2,100 square feet of on-site artist workspace and art gallery. City officials said artists living in the village will help spark Vista's art and culture district, which already includes kites over Vista, a series of large metal pieces of art around Vista Village Drive and Main Street. And it answers a need for more affordable housing. Monthly rent for a one-bed apartment begins at $556, and the top price for a three-bedroom is $1,367. So, yeah, those are pretty low rents for nowadays. So that's pretty great for anybody who can take advantage of that. And like I've said before in previous podcasts, that in my opinion, the biggest challenge to the local San Diego arts and culture industry is actually cost of living. In my experience, that has been a huge factor in artists, maybe getting their start in San Diego, but then they eventually leave to places where it's not as expensive, and that really sucks out the energy of the creative scene, and we lose out on a lot of talent and development and all that. So that's why affordable housing is so important for the San Diego arts and culture industry. And without that, you may end up, in some cases, people end up being homeless, which leads us to the next story that we're talking about. The homelessness crisis in San Diego has been getting a lot of attention in the press lately. Bill Walton, former basketball star who is a San Diegan now, recently came out in a press conference and harshly criticized San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria about the homelessness crisis in San Diego. This is important for the arts and culture industry because, like I said, first off, homelessness can affect anybody, including artists, who are already facing challenges in finding affordable housing for themselves. But also, homelessness is detrimental to tourism, which fuels the arts and culture industry here in San Diego. So here's a little bit. Here's a little clip of the Bill Walton press conference, which made so much news locally in San Diego. Here he is talking about the homelessness crisis.
Paradise Lost. This is the story of San Diego, a once great city. I'm Bill Walton, and I'm a San Diego native. I'm a lifelong resident. I'm an engaged citizen. I'm a voter, and I'm a taxpayer. San Diego, this once great city, is in crisis. We have simultaneous homeless crisis, humanitarian crises, public health crises. These are all the result of a leadership crisis. Success in anything, in a group dynamic, a team setting, a city, a community, whatever, success is always a result of effective leadership. Conversely, failure is a result of lack of leadership. And when there's failure, it's the fault and responsibility of the leader. Being part of a team, a community, a group, and a city, that's a privilege. It carries with it duty, obligation, and responsibility. Some of the first lessons of responsibility are clean up after yourself. Or how about protecting the rights of others regarding shared public space?
We are single mothers.
We work 2 jobs.
Sorry about that.
We have little kids.
This story of our once great city started for me 69 years ago. I was born in San Diego. I grew up in Balboa Park. When I was 26 years old, 43 years ago, we found our family dream home in Hillcrest on the north end of Balboa Park. It was the people, it was the facilities, it was the possibilities and opportunities that were just endlessly positive and so full of hope. It was my dream. It's an iconic neighborhood, eclectic, and very densely populated. As densely populated a community and neighborhood as there is in all of San Diego. And there's always Balboa Park. And our immediate neighbors, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, Roosevelt Middle School, the Veterans Memorial Building with its disabled service centers for our veterans, the Center for the Blind, and our world-famous San Diego Zoo. Right in the middle of all of this is the park on the east side of Park Boulevard between Morley Field Drive and Zoo Place. It's an expansive, flat, level, free, public, open green space with spectacular views and the all-encompassing wonders of nature and life, and places where families could go, where children could play, roll in the grass and in the dirt. Didn't have a name like all the other sections of Balboa Park. It wasn't named Bird Park. It wasn't named Marston or Inspiration Point. It wasn't named 6th and Laurel. It wasn't named Lawn Bowling Park. It wasn't named the Pepper Grove or the Redwood Grove. It was always just the park. And it was all better than perfect. It was Shamrocks. It had everything anyone could ever ask for. It was my dream. But then the problem. A few years back, our mayor, Todd Gloria, decided that the park would be a terrific place for a massive homeless encampment with its accompanying nightmares of enormous amounts of trash, safety issues, lack of sanitation, health problems, and security issues, and all the other tragedies that are now part of life in our beloved but crumbling neighborhood. This is absurd and insane. This is a shipwreck. The rest is the sad story of our once great but now failing neighborhood and community, and our beloved park, which for years was just called the park.
Okay, so that's what Bill Walton has to say about the homelessness crisis in San Diego. It is important to note that Walton fails to offer any ideas or solutions to the problem. You'll see if you continue on with the press conference You can find it on YouTube. That he's just mostly whining and offering no ideas for any solutions. And this is problematic, as you can see, for tourism. Right at the beginning of the press conference, he calls San Diego Paradise Lost, which really, I think, all of the media attention this got, it hurts the arts and culture industry and our ability to attract tourists to San Diego, while also not offering any kind of solution. And despite Bill Walton's claim that the mayor has done nothing, it is well reported that the mayor's administration has been quite busy in opening new shelters, has increased enforcement efforts and lobbying the state for more money for this issue. And here is Mayor Todd Gloria's response to Bill Walton. 1 second.
I mean, last week, and I haven't had a chance to ask people to publicly discuss this, but Bill Walton came out very publicly and basically blamed you for the problem of homelessness in San Diego. What is your response to that?
My office provided a response last week. Stand by those comments. I will simply draw people's attention to what we're doing. Some of those comments were suggesting that nothing's going on. That's the furthest thing from the truth. In fact, let's just call it what it is, which is a lie. We have increased shelter capacity. We have expanded street outreach. We're building more affordable housing. It's not enough, but what you're not hearing from me is that we're all done in this space. What we're saying, we're doing more. We're going to our federal and state partners and asking for additional dollars. We're asking for the kinds of policy reforms that allow us to address those acute cases that concern all of us. And lastly, I'll just say that the frustrations that people are expressing are understandable. I'm frustrated as well. But the difference is you can't allow that frustration to lead to inaction and to actually make the situation worse. What we have to do is funnel that frustration and that energy towards progress. I will be back here again and again, continuing to expand all of the things that we know that work, continue to pester our partners at the county, state, and federal level to provide assistance and resources. But we got more work to do. And I think importantly, this is not unique to San Diego. Every mayor in this country is dealing with this particular problem. But what I hope people feel here in San Diego is that you have a mayor and a city council that are leaning in on this matter. We're doing more than we ever have. Is it enough? No. That's why we're going to continue doing the work that we do. And I look forward to reporting back to you and to the public about the progress we're making.
I mean, I don't recall any other mayor getting hit this hard with this problem. Why do you think that you continue to be sort of targeted for this, being blamed for this?
Well, welcome to the job of being mayor. This job causes you to be held accountable for everything. I have a sign on my desk that says the buck stops here. And I get that. You're held accountable for things you did. You get accountable for things you didn't do, things you have nothing to do with, things that are other people's problems. But I'm here. I'm present. I'm in San Diego every day. I'm accessible to folks. We're here right now talking. I'm walking up and down these streets. I'm at community events. And so you're accessible. And that's okay. I signed up for this job. I wanted this job. I'm happy to have this job. And I accept the accountability that comes with it. But ultimately, you have to, facts have to be said, right? On this issue of homelessness, you all did reporting about the fact that there were people protesting in front of my home for the feeling as though we're being too aggressive with the homelessness, right? And that's when that shooting happened in front of my house because people were protesting in front of it, saying I was doing too much when it comes to homelessness. And then you have other people saying we're not doing enough. Both can't be true.
This is the Patriot Power Sidekick, and it's going to help me power all of this right here in the middle of nowhere.
Sorry. All right. It's done anyways. All right. So that's what. Oh, what's going on? 1 second, guys. Okay, so that's what we have from Mayor Todd Gloria. And also, in further response to the homelessness crisis, the city of San Diego under Todd Gloria has recently joined resources with San Diego County in a joint resolution to create 10,000 affordable housing units. And this is from the County News Center release about that. During a historic housing summit, the county and city of San Diego approved a resolution to expand the affordable housing supply by 10,000 homes using government land by 2030. The formal county/city council meeting was the first in more than 22 years between the two entities and was held Monday. Actually, it was probably a couple weeks ago, I think, at San Diego State University. The resolution calls for supporting 4 major actions. Number 1, streamlining permitting to accelerate housing production. Number 2, building 10,000 affordable homes on government-owned land near transit lines that also support climate action goals and offer construction workers good-paying jobs. Number 3, leveraging public, private, and other funds to speed up the availability of affordable housing. And number 4, increasing density on properties owned by the San Diego Housing Commission or its nonprofit affiliate. So, I don't know if the outburst by Bill Walton, without providing any solutions, has helped in any way. Maybe it's, I guess, brought attention to the issue, but the attention was already there, I believe. I don't think anybody was in denial of the severe homelessness crisis. And of course, it's untrue that the mayor was doing nothing. It's just not true. But homelessness is an issue. It does affect tourism and attracting tourists to San Diego, and tourism helps fuel the arts and culture industry here in San Diego. But it also affects people in the arts community directly many times. In fact, there was somebody I know who I've known for many years in the arts community, a big supporter, attended all kinds of shows and events. And after, in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, this person ended up homeless. And so this person is unsheltered when before the pandemic he had a home. So this is why we're covering this. Anyways, that's all we got. Creative Buzz podcast. I don't know how often we're going to do this or what day of the week or what the schedule will be. Just trying to figure this out. Please check out Thumbprint Gallery, our sponsor, thumbprintgallery.com. And don't miss out on the current art exhibition, solo art show by Daniel Hicks, titled Informal Arrangements, on display until November 5th. The gallery is open every Saturday at 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. We're also hosting a closing reception for the show on November 4th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Also, November 4th, the album release party for my 3rd album. Thanks, guys. See you next time.